The holiday season is the perfect mixture. Drunkenly spending time with those you love, enjoying a song or two, and constantly being under threat of an unseen prank-calling killer about to fuck. Black Christmas is undoubtedly one of the best Christmas-centric films, pipering alongside Gremlins, Home Alone, and A Medea Christmas. It's one of those special kind of movies like Star Wars or The Wizard of Oz, where it would go on to write the rulebook of the genre it's a part of without ever even knowing it.
X, don't you tell what we did, X.
It's one of the earliest examples of what would become the common slasher flick. Predating Freddy, Jason, Michael Myers, and releasing right after 1974's The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, its genesis takes us over to Canada in the early 1970s, where screenwriter Roy Moore became inspired by a growing urban legend of babysitters receiving frightening phone calls from a mystery man upstairs.
Hello? Hey, quiet! It's him again! The Mona!
Energized by a bunch of killings that occurred in Montreal, he began writing a script titled Stop Me.
Ooh, somebody stop me!
Timothy Bond was then brought in to rewrite certain aspects as well as change the film's setting to the soon-to-be horror staple, a sorority house.
Bitch.
Isn't Santa naughty?
Then director and producer Bob Clark did his own pass, altering dialogue to sound more natural and develop all the girls beyond a dumb damsel waiting for Mario to show up.
The caller is in the house.
The calls are coming from the house.
Woo!
He wanted to take the psychos and peeping toms of yesteryear and flip it on its festive face.
It was more of a slasher film when I first got it. I really wanted to emphasize the adultness of college students, their humor, their playfulness. To date, I didn't think college or high school students had ever been done with any sense of reality in American film.
He also directed A Christmas Story almost a decade later, so...
Ho, ho, ho!
He did the best of both Christmas kind of movies.
Only I didn't say f***.
So toss on your ugliest shag sweater as we celebrate with cheer in what is likely the first Christmas horror film.
Probably.
This is Black Christmas. The movie creeps in with some Christmas climbing as we first-person follow the figure into the attic of Pi Kappa Sigma. What the Sigma? That is the real name of the sorority, I promise. Not even a full minute in, and we see the first of many moments from this film that John Carpenter and company would go on to steal, when whipping up Halloween.
But I have Christmas. Oh. Yeah. But hey, you can have Halloween.
Yeah, good. Halloween.
Yeah, sure.
Down below, we're introduced to a slew of sorority sisters, currently slamming down some drinks. But the beautiful boozing is interrupted by a phone call from Pi Kappa Sigma's biggest pledge.
Hello? Hey, quiet! It's him again! The Mona!
The grabby crank caller has become a regular occurrence, and he sounds like if you played a George Carlin record.
Lick it. Let me lick your pretty picky cunt.
He really works his way towards a restraining order until Barb finally takes matters into her own sweaty hands.
You fucking creep!
You probably recognize Margot Kidder best as Superman's Super Babe.
Easy, miss. I've got you.
You've got me! Who's got you?
However, this may be my favorite role from her. She gives such a spitfire, real performance that never wavers, even when shit gets serious.
You think it's my fault, don't you? Barb, stop it. Don't shit me. That's what you're all thinking. Why don't you just come right out and say it?
If only the moaner felt the same.
I'm going to kill you.
They attempt to sway Barb, but the loudmouth, liquid lunch Lois Lane doesn't comply.
On my fat
Oh, why don't you go find a wall socket and stick your tongue in it? That'll give you a charge.
We also establish Phil, short for Phyllis, I'm sure, played by Andrea Martin.
You're drunk. Go to bed.
And more importantly, our protagonist Jess, portrayed by Olivia Hussey.
Come on, Claire, she didn't mean anything.
Who not only has the most delicious accent I've ever heard.
Well, he lives at Baker House, but when he gets like this, he usually goes down to the recital hall at the music conservatory and plays.
She's pretty, SpongeBob.
But also a part-time it encounterer.
Don't you want it? Don't you want it? Don't you want it?
After gaining acclaim for her performance in the recent Romeo and Juliet,
Romeo! There's poison on your face!
She accepted the role after a psychic told her the movie would be a huge hit.
On the day that she arrived, she said to me that she had gone to a psychic and that the psychic said that she would be involved in a film in Canada, which would make a great deal of money.
But I only got this guy to confirm it, so who the fuck knows? Back at the party, Lynn Griffin's Claire has had enough of the hacky voices and heads upstairs to get her stuff.
No, really, Jess, it's okay. I have to finish packing anyway.
She grabs the essentials, like the cat.
Oh, hello, puss. Hello. Go on now.
Failing to see she's not alone in the room.
Who is it? Claude?
Anyway, next day, Claire's father drops in to enjoy all the wonders of college life. Mr. Harrison is played by James Edman, and his stern demeanor is broken down throughout the course of the movie until he's nothing more than a helpless mess like everyone else.
Oh, God damn it, Claude, you little prick!
It's superb character work, as right away he even begins to wear down the house mom, Mrs. Mack, whose alcoholism rivals Frank Gallagher. She's fucking ill. Dear old dad doesn't approve of this new wave, free-spirited hullabaloo.
I didn't send my daughter here to be drinking and picking up boys.
Instead preferring Claire live in a sanitized bubble, I guess. But his daughter being missing matters the most, so they set off on a search to find her. It's strange, we never normally see the fallout of one of these killings. And actually having the opening kill be this critical to the story is something the movie subverts so well. It winds up being more in line with a whodunit versus Freddy cracking quips or Jason killing campers for the trillionth time. Later on, Jess drops in on her piano partner Peter, played by 2001's own Keir Dullea.
I'm pregnant.
Jess, that's fantastic.
He's told the news that she's not only preggers, but she plans on not having it.
I want us to have a baby.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
This is another one of the numerous additions to this movie that elevate it beyond Slumber Party Massacre or whatever.
I don't want it.
Jess isn't some perfect saint like Laurie Strode, but a real person struggling with serious adult problems while also being attacked by this fucking freak.
Hello? Hello?
She's stressed out already, and Billy's bullshit only adds to it.
Just like having a wart removed.
With this still being such a hot button issue,
I'm gonna have an abortion.
50 years later, Black Christmas actually handles this with a lot of tact.
Don't you ever consider anyone but yourself?
Shut the fuck up.
Barb and Phil try reporting Claire missing, but the cops in this movie are just as useless as ones in real life.
You, shut up.
Now, just because it's fictional doesn't mean it's not accurate.
Fellatio 20880. Fellatio.
The Raiders of the Lost Tart continue as it takes getting an angry hockey player involved to finally get this fucking thing making some headway.
Nash, you stupid son of a bitch, you got a big goddamn mouth!
To make matters worse, we find out at the station that there's already another missing 13-year-old girl.
Well, is it really so unusual for her to be just a few hours late, Mrs. Quaid?
Oh, yes.
And we also meet John Saxon's Lieutenant Fuller.
You're a friend of Claire Harrison?
Yeah, I've been taking her out.
Huh, Johnny Boy as a cop in a horror movie. Feels like I've seen that somewhere.
Fred Krueger did it, Daddy. And only I can get him. It's my nightmare he comes to.
They set out on a snazzy search party for the girls, but a discovery nobody wanted materializes when they find the young girl's body. God damn, this is good. Back at the crib, Miss Mack's going for another quick drink.
Love to pop.
But some melancholic meows from above makes Mac find the ghost of Christmas present. Herself. Rest in pina colada, you damn fine drunk. Jess gets another call from her secret admirer.
Hello?
Only to get jump scared by Peter Pan shot.
Peter, Jesus, you scared the hell out of me.
Who's still miffed that she wants to get rid of the little fucker.
I thought you wanted to talk, so why don't you quit attacking me and we'll try to have a rational adult conversation?
It doesn't get much better for him.
We could be married. You could still do anything you wanted to do.
Peter, I don't want to marry you.
Getting friend-zoned by someone you got pregnant? Whew, gotta sting. 70s Jeff Winger keeps at the convo.
You selfish bitch.
He lives up to his name by being a giant dick that only points to him being the killer.
It's probably not him, though.
It's not. Anywho, Peter keeps acting like Luke Skywalker if he had made it to Tashi Station to pick up those power converters. That's a fucking deep cut.
But I was going into Tashi Station to pick up some power converters.
You're gonna be very sorry.
And he rushes off to find Ben Kenobi.
Hi, Peter. I'll get Jess.
At the same time, Lieutenant Fuller flies in to put a wiretap on the house phone, giving the other cop time to tell the girls the most important rule besides keeping the phone away from water and not to feed it after midnight. Oh wait.
You're gonna have to keep this guy on the line as long as possible.
Phil heads up to get some shut-eye with Booze Barbie trying to sleep off the stupor.
I dreamed a stranger was coming in my room.
But it was no bad dream, as Billy quits fucking around and takes his revenge for Superman 3.
X, don't you tell what we did, X.
No one ever expects to be killed with a glass unicorn while a children's choir sings outside. But one must always be ready for it. Billy calls up to gloat again.
Just like having a wart removed.
But Officer Fiddlesticks didn't have enough time to trace the call.
Who was the guy that was leaving when I arrived at your house?
He does have time, though, to say his suspicions of Peter's pussy behavior, who apparently operates like Beetlejuice, as he immediately calls her up right after.
Yes?
God, please help me.
And then he hangs up before they can track him, too. Damn, Jess, try and act like you'll take your top off or something. The salacious soap opera is blindsided by the girls realizing all their doors and windows are unlocked.
I'd rather face the killer.
Well, Phil gets her wish faster than a genie could grant. As they split up to lock down the fort, Phil's killed.
Are you awake?
Billy's back.
You fat pig. You pig. You bitch pig.
With his wonky showmanship now sticking around long enough for the best twist in horror history to happen.
For Christ's sakes, Nash, you got it wrong. That's where the calls are going into.
That's where they're coming from, too, sir.
That the calls are in fact coming from inside the house.
The caller is in the house.
The calls are coming from the house.
Not only does the reveal send shockwaves across the screen, but it still works even though we've seen him in the house the whole movie.
Fit your skin.
It'd be like if The Sixth Sense wasn't bad. No, I can't say that. But she's too brave for her own good and decides to go after the sisters instead of escaping. Now, with the confirmation her friends are cooked, Billy performs a little peep-in.
It's me, Billy.
Meaning I can finally ask, what's the deal with Billy? Billy is one of, if not the most uniquely impossible killer to talk about, especially in the visual sense, since he's never shown aside from a leg and an eye. Hell, Dead Claire is more commonly used on the posters and advertising than the killer. Bob Clark was insistent that he didn't want to show the monster, but create a sense of dread that he is there. You're just not sure where. Billy himself derives from the aforementioned campfire story about a babysitter receiving threatening calls, only to reveal that he's been inside the house all along and killed the kids. They use it to great effect here, keeping the cutter a complete mystery the entire runtime, masking his face with shadows and superb POV shots. His presence looms over Black Christmas.
What are you doing?
I know what you did, Billy! Filthy Billy! Billy! Billy!
Literally the only kind of backstory is what he says, and, you know, he's crazy, so who the fuck knows? The phone calls are the best parts of the movie, with the multiple voices and shrieking shouts sticking in your mind worse than a glass unicorn. Leave those on anyone's answering machine and you'll be blocked for sure.
What your mother and I must know is, where did you put the baby, Betsy?
You've got the wrong number.
Where did you put Agnes, Billy?
Anyway, Jess makes a break for it, but the front door is peanut butter jammed, so she bunkers down in the basement instead. And the award for world's worst timing goes to Peter, as after some banging on the door, he miraculously shows up at the basement window.
Jess? Jess, are you alright?
Okay, now just play it cool, and maybe she'll believe you that you're not. Never mind. As you'd expect, Peter fucks around and found out, and he just kept creeping around Jess, so she beat her baby daddy to death off screen. Play stupid games, win fire poker prizes. So with the cops thinking the killer's presumably been punished, Jess and Mr. Harrison have been traumatized, and a partridge in a pear tree, they leave the lass alone to get some well-deserved rest. However, a certain someone has other plans.
Agnes, it's me, Billy.
And as we shoot out on a shot of Claire's corpse once again, we hear the thing that followed every kill Bill did. Meaning Jess is dead. And that was Black Christmas, and it is so goddamn good. The plot is as complex and dynamic as it is simple and straightforward. A group of sorority sisters are stalked by a shadow, and we see how they react to that terror. But it also adds all of these unique flavors and colors that upgrades this TV dinner into gourmet cuisine. All the acting is phenomenal, with Olivia Hussey, John Saxon, and Margot Kidder being especially impressive. The stakes are real, and they're high. We know there's a threat, and he's not fucking around. Black Christmas is the quintessential Christmas horror movie, utilizing the holiday setting on top of showcasing a harrowing story of our leading lady and the people around her. I love everything about this, and it's right up there with Die Hard and Christmas Vacation for me. I'm going to give Christmas with the Crank Callers. I'm Confused Reviews.
Fellatio.
Thanks for watching.
Son of a bitch, you got a big goddamn mouth.